Hi, my name is Arlene Evans. I am the content director for the photo group at Emerald Expositions. And we are trying to do a series on people who are giving back to the community through their photography and through their businesses. And we're all in this together. And that's really the theme of what it is. So I am very proud to introduce Alison Carlino. She is from Richmond, Texas. Her studio is there. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about what she does, how she runs her studio. So we're going to start with that. Hi, Alison.
Hello, Arlene. Thank you again for having me today. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you. So tell everybody about your studio.
Well, we are in Richmond, Texas, which on a good day is 35 minutes southwest of Houston. On a bad day in traffic, that's about an hour and a half.
Oh.
Of course, right now there's not much traffic at all, so it's kind of nice to travel everywhere. So I live in Sugar Land, about 10, 15 minutes away from my studio. We've been in Texas for 16 years now.
Wow.
We're originally from Louisiana. So we just went across the border. The climate didn't change, not much at all. So
still humid.
Yeah, humid and hot. That's about it. So, but yeah, so this is my 17th year in the business. In July, we will make 17 years. This is my 16th year as a member of WPPI. And I will always truly say that this is the organization that raised me. I started back with the Bally's long time ago.
Time ago.
Many rooms and educators and parties long ago. And it truly has raised me from the business to the marketing side, to the live education, to the networking, and of course, seeing all the trade show products. So I remember being so overwhelmed the first few years and going home every year and just trying to take one single piece and putting it into my business and making it work instead of trying to take many pieces. And eventually, I got to the point where I would be able to walk the trade show floor and go, no, you know what? That's not my brand. I know what I'm here to see. So it's very overwhelming because it's so fun in the beginning. But this organization has raised me to that point that I know what my brand is.
Wow. And they've also raised her to become an important educator at WPPI. She may have learned a lot from us, but now our attendees are learning a lot from her. And I'm really proud of her for that. And because I know she's really not going to say this, she also teaches at PPA, Texas School, SWPP over in the UK. She is really well known as an educator as well. So
we're nothing if we don't continue to educate the next generation and the next round of folks, because they can never be me and I can't be them. So I can show you what others have shown me. And that's kind of what I'm going to do here today, is give you some ideas of what we've done the last 5 to 6 weeks and what we plan to do marketing and business wise coming up.
That's great. Well, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here to my PowerPoint. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to show you now some points of what we've been doing the last 5 to 6 weeks at my business here southwest of Houston. Most of what we've been doing is about service, not sales. We want to be humans. We want to be kind humans. We want to recognize that our clients are going through some challenges and try to stay in contact constantly with them. That was our biggest goal. So there's my family. Just want to introduce you a little bit to myself. My 2 boys, one's in college, one's in 10th grade here. These are my cats. So now you know who I am.
Wow. A cat lady.
I might be photobombed by a tail in the back in a minute. So who knows? So our studio is a freestanding space. It's 4,000 square feet in Richmond. I have 2 acres of lawn to shoot on. It's another whole mortgage and another property to keep up. So it's been a challenge, but we've had that for 11 of my 17 years. If you started off in your own home with running your business, I understand. I was there. I understand those challenges. So we do have a viewing room where we do sales in person on the screen, and that really did make our sales go up by showing large. If you want to sell large, you got to show large. Camera room in the back. Really what I'm doing back there is newborn, headshot, and sometimes, right now, social distancing with our sport teams. They're coming in every 10 minutes. We're scheduling slots, sanitizing after. So it's one person, they take 2 images and they go in one door and out the other. So we're able to make sports teams work because of digital extraction and compositing right now. So there's my team. We had some fun with a downtown Houston shoot recently.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. So um, my sports team is really making up a good 40 to 50% of what I do now. I've been doing sports for about 4 years. Before that, portrait wedding. I'm still doing portrait and wedding, but now the sports has really taken place of some of the areas that were maybe going down. I used to do 25 weddings a year. Every wedding for me had an engagement, a bridal, and a wedding day. So if you do 25 times 3, that's 75 sessions right there. It was too much with everything else. So I'm down to maybe 8 to 9, maybe 10 weddings a year. And I really zone in on exactly who I want to book there with the higher end clients. But the sports has definitely given us something Monday through Friday to do during the school day, or either once in a while on Saturdays with my league. And Carlino shoots all that. Carlino's loves humans, whatever humans can get into. We are going to be there for you along your life journey. That cat's blind, by the way, up there. Isn't that adorable? I know. So sweet.
So sweet.
So the first thing that we did, guys, is we reached out to all of our clients that were on the books for the next month. We figured this is going to go down. We don't know how long. Let's reach out to everybody that's out there and go ahead and tell them, hi, we're here for you. Are you healthy? What's going on? What have you heard? It had nothing to do with sales, nothing to do with rebooking. It was just, we're here. Here you are. How are you? And we, as long as schools kept canceling and then canceled again, and then finally a couple weeks ago they wiped it off altogether. We're in school till June 6th here in this district, so it's a pretty late school year for us. So they went ahead and wiped it off a couple weeks ago. We are at 41 loss on the bookings, so 41 is a lot to swallow. Most of those are not coming back. But we are with these relationships with these coaches and these school directors or these high school senior parents that really still want their children photographed. Those relationships are solid. So the business is coming back in the fall. I just know it is. So we've stayed in constant contact. So we just did that a few days ago, put that up for our team and everybody to see, just to, something fun from the home based on the Friends theme. It just shows every few days we're doing something as a staff to show that we are here for you. We are still working and going to take care of you as a photographer. The most important thing that I think we've done during this time that I should have done years ago was create a private Carlino's club of our best 25 clients. And we've created a private Facebook page for these folks. They could have been clients of ours for 15 years and have just continued to budget in photography as something that was a priority to them. They could have been people that have done a wedding and 2 baby plans with us. Maybe they're not best purchasers, but they have found the money to keep coming back to us somehow.
That's wonderful.
So we're going to spoil them. I don't take out ads in magazines. I don't do billboards. I'll donate to raffles and things with our schools and sports. But this is how I spoil my clients with marketing dollars. I will give them new products from my labs, and then they go around and talk about them. And that's where my marketing dollars are best spent right there. And these 25 people are just, they're gold to me, and they adore us. So they're mine to lose in that sense. So I'm so excited about running forth with this group. And hopefully by the time we speak at WPPI next year, we'll have some awesome ideas about how we spoil them and what they're doing to continue being a part of this club.
That's great.
The small business story and music time, the week after everything got shut down and everybody was told to stay home, we were like, there's no way these mamas, they're probably going crazy with these young kids in the house. So we had a 15-minute story time where I said, just put the phone, give your kids a phone, let me read a story to them. I used to teach 4th grade. I taught language arts. I love to read to children. And I played my flute. I went to school on a music scholarship. So I still love to do all that. And they got a quick little break from it, and they enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So nothing to do with sales, just here, let us help you for a few minutes. These high school seniors that we've been doing since August for their personal sessions where they wear their cool clothes and we go to fun places, there's a few of them that did get in before we shut down in March. And so we created these free announcements. The quote at the bottom down there is from Kimberly Smith: "Not ordinary times, we're not ordinary people. We will persevere, conquer, and overcome. We're the extraordinary class of 2020. And we've made yard signs now with these too. So it's obviously some of my pictures and some of theirs, but the moms would get these and they would share them on social, and they're just crying. And It's tough. I photographed this kid since he was an infant, so
Wow.
it's tough to watch him have to go through this. So that's just an example of a couple of them that we did.
That gave me goosebumps. That's saying it's because these kids who are graduating, whether it's high school or college, are losing a moment in time that they can never get back. And
Yes,
you're still trying to make it special for them. That's wonderful.
absolutely. The other part of making something special is number 5 here. We've reached out to 21 of our current and past clients, and we have found that we have frontliners like we didn't even know they were coming out of the woodworks. I didn't
Oh,
realize
wow.
some of them had changed careers. And we've made these beautiful graphics that celebrate what they do, what they're doing on the front line to protect us right now or to serve others. And we had everybody from life flight helicopter pilots to the people on the left down here, the Reyes family. I think I've worked with them for 13 years, but she's doing research on the blood right now to see what they can draw from that. And then he's helping the cardiac. He's on the cardiac floor. So
Wow.
we had several family members or families that had dual mom and dad frontline heroes. And it's just, they tell me stories of how they're sleeping separate from their families, and they're
Uh,
taking all their clothes off before they get in the house and their shoes. And it's just such a commitment right now. And some of them, I mean, these guys get to go home, but I know there's some frontliners that are not even going home. They're staying in
no.
hotels. But so, sometimes we had a whole medical group that was working frontline, and other times it's just family. So a lot of fun to honor those folks.
Oh, absolutely.
The next one's our scavenger hunt that we did for local small businesses. So if you haven't reached out to people within a 2-mile radius of you that are also small business, not national chains, this is a perfect time to partner and get to know those people right around you. We created a scavenger hunt. 7 days. Here's what you have to do every day. Some days it was shape and form, some days it was circles, some days it was light and shadow, something photography based. And it didn't matter how good or how awful your images were because it was all iPhone. But this was something that moms could give their kids to do, or even adults, just because they were bored and needed some kind of creative stimulus. And
Hmm.
every day, as long as you tagged me and then tagged the vendors, then you were entered. And then we had people that won all 10 of those prizes on the bottom left down here. So if you're
Wow.
interested in getting my flyers, my ideas for all 7 days, there's my email address at the bottom. Be happy to send you those. So email me and hit me up.
That's
That was so much fun.
oh yeah.
Costume party, we're playing with this one. I've got some samples made. I was thinking, people are at home. Those kids have got a lot of costumes in their closets from Halloween and dress
Oh.
up. I mean, obviously, this is going to hit our young generation. This is my nephew. As you can see, it's the same digital background that I'm using. I shot that in Maui last summer. But, just he had a pirate costume. So I felt inspired to put a pirate ship in there. Now, I am not a Photoshop guru. There are people that can do this better than me, but you know what? It's free and it's fun. So,
That's
yeah, isn't
adorable.
that fun?
Yeah,
And
it
they do
is.
taekwondo. And so he had all these costumes. They love dressing up for Halloween. So I thought this would be something fun for the kids to do that mom could use to show off on social, possibly even. I'm not charging for this. This is just fun. I mean, you can see how
Oh.
bad sometimes the images are pretty bad. They're lit poorly. I try to give mom inspiration about where to stand with good light, how to place the camera at the chest level so that you don't get distorted heads and feet. And you get what you get, but she loved this. So
Oh, she's adorable.
I started last month doing Meals on Wheels. I have always wanted to have time to donate, time to drop off food like that. And it's hard to jump in this point of it because I'm masked up and I'm gloved up and I can't hug them and I can't say hello past 6 feet and I can't even hand them the food. I have to drop it at the door and then back off. And so it's hard to build that relationship with my people on my route right now, but I have really enjoyed doing this and I'm going to keep doing it.
That's great.
My city has been given my studio space. We have 4,000 square feet and 2 acres of land. If they need it to bag meals, if they need it to as a down center, I don't know what they need, but I offered it to the city. So service, not sales. And then this one I'm working on right now as I speak. my fine art images, I'm about to go live with my fine art division with my landscape and my Milky Way. And I thought, right now, people that are staff and maybe patients that are suffering, maybe for a few minutes during each day on their closed circuit televisions, they could take a look at images like Mount Rainier
That's
and maybe
beautiful.
feel a peace and a sense of relaxation when they look at things. So I'm working
Wow.
with the hospital marketing staff to get my images out there on their television.
Those are beautiful. And you took them here when you were
I
speaking at
did.
Kenmore Camera in Seattle.
I did.
Oh, they're
I
gorgeous.
stayed out till 3 a.m. to capture this vertically. It was so cold.
It's so beautiful. It's cold up there. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's cold for Southern Girl. I
Wow,
had
that's true.
gloves on, and the guy next to me came down from Canada, and he's like in shorts and t-shirt.
And you're bundled up like this.
Oh,
because
I was bundled for
you're a
sure.
Texas girl. Oh,
Yep.
that's beautiful.
Shot that 3 weeks ago. This is our Texas bluebonnet season.
Oh,
Yeah, I
gorgeous.
wasn't going to miss it. I mean, you talk about your ultimate social distancing. There wasn't anyone out there. You just kind of sit in the flowers and you hear the wind and you smell the scent of the flowers. And so I hope that maybe some of our hospitals around here can use images like this just to feel some peace.
That's beautiful. I love the Blue Hills.
That's Smoky Mountains at
Oh,
dusk.
really? Wow.
It's like a study on blue, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So pretty. So anyway, going on now. So that was 5 to 6 weeks about from now ago when we started doing all those service, not sales things. And we were not one of those that jumped out there right away and tried to sell to people. We thought personally that it was insensitive to get out there. People didn't know about jobs. They didn't know if they were going to have money from one check to the check. So we didn't push sales until about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. And that's only because we had seen that our audience, our target market, were not being laid off. So that was a decision based on who we serve. And that's something you'd have to decide in your own business about the right time to get out there and start selling again. But we did find some things that we could do to reduce costs in the studio with reducing our plans, turning up the air condition, pushing the housemaid off for a couple months. And then, of course, we did apply for the payroll protection loan. It's, you don't get in this business 17 years. You don't stay here without knowing and understanding how to be a business person who happens to be a photographer. Jerry Guiones taught me that a long time ago. But you have to know how to plan. And yes, we had, 9-10 months of savings built up, but trying not to dip into that has been hard, being that you've lost 41 gigs this spring that would have paid for keeping the slower months going. So yes, we've dipped into our savings. And on top of that, we were able to get the payroll protection loan for all 7 of us. So I'm so thankful. I cried 3 times in April. And that the third time that when we received this, I couldn't even function. I was so honored and grateful when we knew we got it. So, and I've applied for a bunch of those other things that you see on there. If you don't know about any of those, look at it. I mean, if you're not in Texas, of course, and you're not a woman, you can't apply for the third one. But all the rest of those, they're open to apply for. I haven't heard from any of them, but all of those are out there right now. And if you're a small business under 25 people, you can qualify for all of those.
Oh, that's great to know.
Yep. Going forth, the last couple slides I have here are showing you, what are we going to do to try to gain business? And knowing that people are a little bit shy to come out. The confidence is quite not there yet. I will say that last Friday, Texas opened back up, 25% occupancy. It stinks for the restaurants because they really still can't function like they need to. They can still do to-go orders and such, but for me, it means that I can go out to a flower field, or like last night, I was in a town square doing a fashion session with just 3 of us. There was no one around. We were 6 feet apart. I wore the mask, and we were able to pull off a high school senior session. Wow. So things like this, the milestone minis, we're trying to put back into people's lives something happy. So if you missed spring school pictures, or if you missed your sports league pictures, or if you missed graduation or prom, we can still do this as a photographer before it gets boiling hot here. So we're about to go really big with this week. We've been watching Google Analytics, and we've been watching who stays home when and who's been on Facebook. And we've noticed that Friday evenings right now are a great time to post. in my area. That was not the case before the pandemic. But for some reason now, people are checking Facebook more around that time. So we're going to put this out here this week. The yard signs for every level of graduate have been so popular. I think we're up to almost 60 signs now.
Wow.
Between high school seniors, pre-K, kindergartner, and an 8th grade. Even 5th grade we've done, because that's a breaking point. We're K to 5 here, and then they go on 6 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another ground that we can sell to. So I love my signs, and we do 24 by 30 signs, and they're beautiful color. They're large for the yard, and they're really something to see. So that's another way we sell. And what we're coming up with, the last 5 here on the list, are what we're coming up with this summer that we're going to be talking about how to implement, and then what to actually do in the fall. And the first one, $150 buy-in toward your session fee gets you at a free collage print. So we're thinking of something called session reservations, which I've never done this early in advance before.
Mm-hmm.
I usually open up fall in August, and then my books fly through December and they're gone. But we're thinking of doing reservations as early as June 1st now. So why not, right? I mean, there's got to be people out there that still want to do family portraits. I think it'll be a heartwarming thing this fall to get families together when we finally can. And I think they're going to want to celebrate that.
Oh, I think so too, because it becomes more important than ever when you're in a situation like this. And, everybody's been touched by this somehow, some way. And that's when you're very grateful for who you have in your family. And hopefully they're all healthy.
Absolutely. A little sad note here. We lost one of our coaches at the high school, and his wife is also a coach, and it was all COVID related. And she's asked me to work the memorial service in June.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It'll be the third funeral that I've photographed in my career. And fortunately for me, it's supposed to be a celebration that's a remembrance of how happy everybody was around him. And it's supposed to be a happy kind of deal, and a balloon release for the kids, and because he had a little son. So everybody's touched by it. You're right. Everybody's touched by it.
That's really sad. And hopefully everybody will be able to come together for it. And without having a limit as to the number of people that are there.
I think that's where the confidence has to build back. That I don't know enough medically to talk about herd immunity. I don't. It's a term that I'm trying to understand, but I do know that people are not quite sure they want to step out yet, even though our stay-at-home has been lifted. We're not seeing everybody flock to the movie theaters or whatever. So, it's going to take a while for things to come back.
I don't think I would go at this point.
No. One thing I am excited about, I was talking to Arlene about this before we started this call, is the micro events. This past Saturday, I worked a wedding for a couple that she's 55. It was her first marriage, first family found love, and it was supposed to be her big wedding day. And she's like, you know what? I'm pulling that license and we're getting married. We're going to do 7 people under an oak tree on 30 acres of land. And it was the most beautiful, intimate micro ceremony. She walked down the aisle in the rain with him singing to her. I mean, it will forever hold in my. I know. And it was just me and 7 people, and then their family did a drive-by after and had signs and cans and were waving from the car. And I'd never experienced anything like that. I can't believe I got to be the journalist that captured that. It was so emotional.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that we have some more micro events like that, whether it's milestone anniversaries or small reunions of families, maybe 25 or less. These intimate weddings, there is something to be said for that. And our Texas weddings get really big here. As of right now, we still have one on the books in July that has 550 people invited.
Oh my gosh.
And she is pushing forward to doing it. And I don't know what the confidence will be. And of course, I'm under contract to be there, and I will wear a mask, and we'll see what happens. But the Texas weddings are huge. So
that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we even know that many people? I mean,
her parents do.
Oh, okay. And they're paying for it, so.
Yes, more than likely. Love this couple, adorable couple, but it's just not the intimate service that I worked last weekend. So,
wow, big difference.
Big difference. So I'm hoping micro events are something that I have so much knowledge to share on the next time we can all be together to teach.
Mm-hmm.
But looking for other things like my art division. If there's projects that you've been wanting to get on the ground for a while, and this is the time to do it. And I dipped back in and found my art images for the last 4 years, and we finally have my division going. I was juried and accepted to my first art show that was supposed to happen last month, which didn't.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
thank you very much. Thank you. So whenever we do go live with it, we're going to donate 1% of the first round of sales to X organization. We just haven't decided yet. So, and then of course, I'm still going to try to teach I always limited my workshops here at the studio, my beginner and my advanced. So I've always been limited to 10 people. So I am still going to try to do that in July. And I know we can safe distance and learning can still happen. So yeah, that's what we've been up to the last 5-6 weeks. I have been anything but dead.
Wow. You haven't taken a breath since this all started, and you've done so much good for your community, but I'm sure it brings so much to your heart as well.
It does.
You know,
it does.
And for your staff, and you were able to keep them busy.
Yes.
And keep them, because I know how loyal you are to them. I know you bring them to WPPI so that they can learn as well. And that's really a special thing that you do for them.
I value that education and that time to team build as a staff more than anything. And that was one of the hardest things for me to get over is what do we do now? How do I provide? How do I make sure that they have jobs? It's 7 or 6 people's livelihoods depend on me. And that is what weighed on me and why I couldn't sleep the first 2 weeks.
Oh, I can imagine. But they're already loyal to you, but that much more loyal knowing that you're a family. Absolutely. And you look at them as family, and you tried to protect them as much as you could. So
don't make me cry.
Okay, I won't make you cry. But no, it's true. And I'm so happy you got the loan because other people didn't. And so
I know.
At least you're able to move forward that way. But it sounds like your business within the next few months with all these special projects that you've come up with, you'll be generating income. Nothing like, you can't make up for the 41 jobs that you lost at this point.
Yeah, but make the work. And when that doesn't work, make something else that works. You can control what you can book to a certain extent. So find the work, find their need. It has nothing to do about what we want. It's what the customer needs at that point. Right. Find a way to make that work with your brand.
And on those very wise words, I'm going to thank you again for being with us and
you're welcome.
For putting together such a great presentation and for being part of the WPPI community and for being my friend. I appreciate that.
Thank you. So, much love.
Yeah. Take care. Thanks again. Bye.